Assalamu alaikum and a good day to everyone. How you are doing? Welcome to another episode in the Science and History series. If you remember the first video in the series, we discussed colors, specifically that colors are a property of light. And we discussed the various shades of colors, the rainbow essentially. In this episode, we will continue in the discussion of the electromagnetic spectrum, which is light, and here we will concentrate on the light that we can't see. So let's get to it. The invisible spectrum, the world we live in but never see. So in our previous video we talked about colors, how what we call light is actually an electromagnetic spectrum, a range or spectrum of different wavelengths. Remember Vibgyor or Roy G. Biv? Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. This range is called the visible spectrum because it's the part of light our eyes can detect. But there is something important to remember. This entire rainbow is only a tiny slice of reality. What we see feels complete, but it isn't. If the full electromagnetic spectrum were stretched out like a very long road, the visible part, everything humans have ever seen with their eyes, would be thinner than a single pencil line. Everything else is invisible to us, not because it doesn't exist, but because our eyes were never designed to see it. And yet, this invisible light surrounds us, passes through us, and quietly runs much of the modern world. Before we move further, let's place ourselves on a simple map. As we discussed last time, light is described by something called wavelength, the distance between one wave and the next. You don't need to remember the numbers, just the scale. So the light our eyes can see lies roughly between 400 to 700 nanometers of wavelength. A nanometer is a billionth of a meter, or 0.000000001, 8 zeros of a meter. If we look at both the edges, around 400 nanometers we see violet, and on the other side around 750 nanometers we see red. So we only see light containing wavelength between 400 and 750 nanometers of wavelength. This narrow band from red to violet is all of invisible light. If the wavelength is shorter than 400 nanometer, we can't see it. And likewise, if the wavelength is bigger than 750 nanometers, we again can't see it. So let's now discuss what lies beyond. On the longer wavelength side, beyond red, are infrared, microwaves and radio waves. These wavelengths stretch from micrometers to meters to even kilometers. And on the other side, on the shorter wavelength side, beyond violet, are ultraviolet, X-rays and gamma rays. Here the wavelengths shrink to billionth or even trillionth of a meter. So between radio waves on one end and gamma rays on the other, the visible spectrum sits in the middle, a very thin slice. Before going further, let's clear one common misunderstanding. Radio waves, microwaves, infrared, visible light, ultraviolet, X-rays, gamma rays, they are not different things. They are all the same phenomenon, that is electromagnetic waves. The only difference between them is energy. Lower energy waves are longer and gentler. Higher energy waves are shorter and more intense. That's it. No sharp or clear boundaries, just a smooth, continuous spectrum. Now let's get more familiar with the invisible parts of light. Right next to red light lies infrared. Of course, we can't see it, but we can feel it. Heat from the sun, warmth from a fire, the heat from our own bodies. These are all examples of infrared. Thermal cameras don't show colors, they show infrared radiation. In a way, infrared is what the world would look like if we could see temperature instead of color. Move further along the spectrum, the waves become longer. These are microwaves and radio waves. They pass through walls, they pass through buildings, they pass through you. Your mobile phone uses them, Wi-Fi depends on them, GPS relies on them, radio and television are built on them. Right now, your home is filled with invisible signals crossing each other silently without collision. This is not science fiction, it's everyday life. On the other side of the visible light lies ultraviolet. Here, energy begins to increase. Ultraviolet light helps the body produce vitamin D, causes sunburn, and damages DNA with prolonged exposure. Your eyes can't see it, but your skin remembers it. This is our first reminder that invisible does not mean harmless. Go further still, and energy increases even more. Now we reach X-rays. X-rays can pass through soft tissues, but not through dense materials like bones. That's how doctors can see inside the body without making a single cut. Once again, science extends our senses beyond their natural limits. At the far end of the spectrum lie gamma rays. These are the most energetic waves in nature. They are produced by nuclear reactions, supernovae explosions, the most violent events in the universe rather. They are dangerous in large doses, but in controlled amounts they are also used to treat cancer. Even the extremes of nature can heal when properly understood and applied. Let's pause here. Everything we've talked about, communication, warmth, medicine, danger, exists in a reality that is invisible to human senses. Our eyes show us only what helped our ancestors survive: light, color, movement, not completeness. Science is the story of learning to see beyond ourselves. The visible spectrum feels rich and colorful, but it is only a narrow window. Most of reality does not announce itself with brightness or color. It works silently, invisibly, patiently. And every time we invent a new instrument, we don't just discover something new, we discover how much we were missing. Now, before we end, let me pose a question, just to see how much you have understood. What is the shade of the infrared part of the spectrum compared to the red part of the spectrum? Please post down your responses, your answers in the comment section, and provide your feedback on this video. And if you do like it, do click like. In the end, as always, thank you for watching. Stay curious and Allah Hafiz.